Hi, Joe Bizzello here for joebizzello.com and the CAP Equation Sales Methodology. We're going to talk about an interesting subject in this short video. We're going to talk about managing yourself, not time. And if you think about the CAP equation, competencies, attitudes, and pipeline practices, the management of time or the management of yourself and your priorities is partially a competency, but I think it's partially an attitude too. We're going to talk about both sides of it. We're going to talk about managing yourself and your priorities inside of small blocks of time. If you have the PDF that we sent you with this program, take it out and follow along. There's a place to make notes. But I've been saying for a long time, you can't manage time. Time just keeps ticking away. But you can manage yourself and your priorities, the things that are really important to you, inside of small blocks of time. So don't focus on time. I think logically, it's hard to manage time. We can't stop the clock. We also can't create more hours in a day. That's impossible. If you can, give me a call and let me know. I want to hang out with you. I could use a few more hours in the day. And in the program and the other curriculum that accompanies this video, we might talk about your ability to produce more usable time, but we can't create more hours in a day. Rather than worry about time, and what I hear a lot is complaints, and it sounds like this, I didn't get anything done today, I didn't get anything done this week, I had a horrible week. Rather than complain about that, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to put all your energy into managing yourself and your priorities. So that's what I'm going to harp on. I'm going to harp on managing yourself and your priorities better. I find it difficult to think about the management of 8 hours in my day or 10 hours, however many hours we're going to work. Hopefully it's not more than 10. And let alone worrying about and thinking about how to manage an entire work week, a 40-hour work week. I think that's pretty overwhelming. But I can manage myself. I can manage my efforts in 1 or 2 hour blocks of time. So that's what we're going to talk about. So instead of worrying about managing time or complaining about it, place a focus on yourself and your priorities. I want you to determine two things. The first thing I want you to determine is how you think about time, how you value time. And the second thing I would like you to think about is what you believe is most important, most pivotal, most critical for you and your business right now, where you're at today in your sales business or your entrepreneurial venture. So the first thing I want you to do is learn how to value each minute and each hour. Because I believe if you really value your time, especially your green time is defined as those prime selling hours, PST, prime selling time, green time. You might call it something different, but we're all referring to those hours where you should be on the phone or face-to-face with a prospect or a client. I want you to value each minute and each 15-minute block or each hour you have in your day of your green time. And then I want you to ask the question, is what I'm doing critical or vital? Is it really critical to my business? What do I need to get accomplished during the next hour or 2 hours that's really going to move my day forward, going to move my week forward? So if you break it down to 15-minute blocks, 30-minute blocks, 1 hour blocks, 2 hour blocks of time, it really changes everything. It changed it for me. I can get real focused, I can get real committed, I can even turn off the mobile device for an hour or two and totally focus on qualifying leads, setting appointments, getting ready for a presentation or presenting. I can really get very, very focused for 1 or 2 hour blocks. It's not overwhelming to me. If you're following along with a PDF, go to the second page of it. And let's do the next thing that's logical. Once you determine what's really important for you to do, then I want you to do these 4 things. First, I want you to demarcate your calendar. I want you to take your calendar, and if you have to, print it out. Kill a tree. Identify your prime time. Identify your green time. Just block that off in your calendar. It's different based on what we sell and who we sell it to. It may be different for an individual kitchen table sale versus a B2B sale. So B2C might be different than B2B. But identify your prime time, your green selling time. And then also identify your administrative time. There is time you will need in your calendar to do other things that support your business and maintain your business. Determine what that time is and demarcate that in your calendar as well. And then I want you to identify your family and downtime, because that's important. So family time, your downtime, doing things you like to do that recharge your batteries. So number one, demarcate your calendar and break it down into prime time, administrative time, and downtime. Number two, I want you to then chunk down your prime time into small blocks, 1 hour, 2 hour at a time, or 4 hours. Then number three, I want you to determine which of your priorities, number 1, 2, and 3, determine which of your priorities is number 1, 2, or 3. Typically, and it's not a big secret, typically if you're in sales, especially if you're newer in your first year or two building your business, your block of business, your block of clients, typically the top priority is prospecting, setting appointments, getting the time and attention of a prospective client. Number two would actually be presenting or closing, and then number three would be delivering the product, enrolling the product, facilitating the sale, making the sale happen. So determine which of your priorities is number 1, 2, and 3 based on where you're at. And then number 4, then do those things inside of those small blocks of time. If you're having a problem prospecting, getting it into your calendar, I can tell you that I know from experience is because you didn't make it one of those 3 priorities, you didn't identify the green time that you should be prospecting, and you didn't hardwire it into your calendar. If you simply do that, if you simply do these 4 things, everything will change. It's easy to get overwhelmed. I think people try to make this thing called managing yourself, or if you want to call it time management, go ahead. I call it managing yourself and your priorities. I think people try to make it pretty complex. It's not. It's really very simple. If you focus on the best use of your time hour by hour, 2 hours by 2 hours, and you make sure your priorities are hardwired into your calendar, everything changes. So you'll find that you can create a really, really effective calendar. You can really kick butt in terms of managing time and being efficient if you do some of the things we're talking about. But you have to demarcate your calendar. You have to identify your priorities. And stop worrying about the entire day. Just be really productive for the next hour or two. And then, hey, maybe take a breather, have a cup of coffee, go get a snack, and then come back and be productive for another 2 hours. Watch how that changes your day. Hope this has helped you. Hope you took some great notes on the PDF that we sent out to you. Have a great and productive week, and we'll see you next time. This is Joe Bozzello for joebozzello.com and the CAP Equation Sales Methodology.